badass. You can work and chase your dreams and have a child. You don't have to, or you can put your child up for adoption.
I'm a pragmatist. Like, that's very idealistic. You're not.
It's not idealistic. There are pregnancy centers in every single town, every single state.
You're not going to convince liberal feminist women that.
You're not going to convince them of anything. They are so far gone. There's no point in having a conversation with them.
But what I'm trying to say is, you have two very strong opposing sides here. You have pro-choice, pro-life. To me, that the middle ground would be where both people's desires for the life is satisfied. Now, are there other existential concerns when it comes to like technological singularity and like having the capability of having an artificial womb and what that impact is? Ultimately, though, the main thing of abortion is what the issue is that's a life.
Yes.
So with an artificial womb, you can
still give the baby
Where's the funding for these artificial wombs in these centers coming from?
Let's assume the artificial womb is just as capable of bringing a child to term healthily. The child gets to live. The mother, if she wants to, can opt out of the pregnancy, but the child gets to live.
Where's the child go?
Into the artificial womb.
No, after.
Also, you're overlooking that the abortion industry wants to make the money they're making.
Hold on. It becomes a ward of the state.
Just absolutely not.
Scary. That's scary.
That's horrifying.
Communism. That's scary.
That's what people who are.
I think what would be better.
Who has the baby? Kamala Harris.
Here's what I think would be better. I think.
What about people who lose their parents?
Guys,
they become wards of the state.
Hold on. I think what would be better, from what I understand.
If you're an orphan, you become a ward of the state.
Hold the phone. From what I understand, it's extremely expensive to adopt a child in America. It's a time-consuming process. It's an expensive process. And I look at our country and I see us spending unbelievable amounts of money on other countries, like, for example, Ukraine, which we spent $100 billion on to maintain this corrupt money laundering operation for our own politicians. Okay? What if we financially incentivized good families in America to adopt these children?
Yes. There are like 25 parents lined up, families lined up for every child in the foster care system. I think it's 22 to 20, it's either 22 or 23 families waiting to adopt for every child in foster care.
So many kids in foster care.
What causes that? What causes that bottleneck? Why
it is a completely corrupt government system.
Why is it so hard for so many to
Because it makes so much money.
What are you talking about?
Why is it so hard for people to adopt?
Well, because there's a ton of corruption and bureaucracy in the foster care and adoption system in our country.
Yeah. See, hold on. Before we make the artificial womb jump, which is a big leap.
Is that a real thing?
We should like fix that problem first, pragmatically speaking.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
Would you say that that's fair?
What's fair?
Rather than just jumping straight to artificial wombs, fixing this like adoption process in our country so that people can actually like adopt those babies that would be aborted otherwise?
Sure, but what I'm saying is with the artificial womb, to me it seems like that is a reasonable compromise where both sides get what they want. Now,
the abortion industry is not getting what they want with the artificial womb. They want dead babies. No, they don't. They make billions of dollars. They make over $1 billion. Planned Parenthood alone every single year killing children, selling the abortion pill and charging $500 to like $2,000 for a D&E abortion where they go in, they suck the child, they rip them apart limb by limb. How are they making money if babies are not being aborted?
I think you're straw-manning the pro-choice side a little bit.
No, I am talking about the abortion industry. I'm talking about the abortion industry, which makes...
They don't have a desire to kill babies. They have a
desire...
Oh
my God.
She's saying that...
I'm talking about the abortion industry.
She's saying there's an industry that would be opposed to what it is that you're proposing because they are massively financially profiting off of abortion.
They make millions of dollars selling
abortion.
abortion.
Also is against people who are pro-life.
My point is, you're saying pro-womb, like these fake wombs and stopping abortion is going to benefit both the pro-choice, pro-life side. I'm saying the abortion industry, which is a $1 billion+ industry, does not want that. And they're the main proponents of the pro-choice side.
That may be the case, but if we're looking at the actual arguments that of pro-choice, the pro-choice side is basically allowing women to terminate a pregnancy. So
kill their baby.
Sure, that's fine. If we introduce or develop an artificial womb, to me that seems like you give both sides exactly. Are there going to be what's it called when you're I'm blanking on the term. You give both sides what they want. A woman can terminate her pregnancy and the life can continue. But that to me seems like it addresses both sides of this.
My point is the main body pushing the pro-choice side, doing the advertising, doing the marketing, trying to convince women that abortion is good for them. The pro-choice argument pushers is the abortion industry.
I disagree. I think there's a grassroots movement of women who want to eschew, I don't know if I used that word right.
Sure, but they've bought into the lies of an industry that's been on the market for 40 plus years, making billions of dollars, killing children and exploiting women.
Propagandizing everybody.
Yes. Telling women that abortion is good for them and it's about empowerment. You're telling women that they can't be a mom and successful. And you're telling black and minority women where you're planting your facilities that they need this abortion in order to get out from under. It's bullshit.
I think that maybe they already feel that way.
Okay, so I don't disagree with you that there would be advocacy groups that would stand to lose by the introduction of an artificial womb. What I'm saying on a purely argumentative or purely argumentative level is pro-choice, pro-life. With the introduction of an artificial womb, we can talk about the perhaps ramifications of such a technological introduction. You are giving both sides precisely what they want.
I think it would help an artificial womb, and let's just say they get it off the ground and it's working and it's not corrupt and there aren't babies dying because the system isn't working, whatever, and they're becoming wards of the state and lost in the system. Let's just say we get it down. You would maybe get converts from the pro-choice or pro-abortion. Maybe the distinction that we need to make is the difference between pro-choice and pro-abortion, which it's very much one and the same in a lot of ways, practically speaking. But maybe you could get those grassroots people you're talking about that don't have any money to gain in abortion being legal. Maybe they'd say, okay, I won't be pro-abortion anymore because there is an alternative where the child lives. I'll give you that. I will also argue that the people most loudly pushing for abortion, telling women it's good for them, have millions of dollars to lose if abortion is not legal and if the abortion pill is off the market.
I don't think anyone's telling women that abortion is good for them, and I don't think any woman thinks
Planned Parenthood.
But I don't think that women think that abortion is good for them. I think that they think that that is their only choice in a situation they're put in. I don't think they think, oh, this is good for my body, this is healthy. I think they're thinking, I'm in a situation and this is the option.
But would you not agree that the abortion industry, like the Planned Parenthoods of the world, are not? Would you agree that they are telling women that abortion is a woman's right and it's empowering and it's not bad for them or it's not dangerous?
I see that.
Yes, that's what I am really primarily talking about, the abortion industry. I'm not talking about necessarily, I agree. I think most women who get an abortion do so because their back's against the wall, which is the opposite of empowerment. Like, people aren't waking up and saying, oh, I want to feel empowered, I'm going to go to Planned Parenthood, kill my kid. Yeah. But
the resolution to that is like something way deeper than. That's
well, I've derailed the conversation when it comes to the. Oh my God!
Eve donated $300. Ladies,
That's
about abortion, do you believe every
also,
soul
thanks,
deserves
Eve. I'm sorry for saying you were condescending
earlier. Or could a variable such as wrong timing be enough to intercede with
God's This is already been played.
My bad.
My inquiry isn't deemed as condescending.
All right, Eve, thank you. That came through 3 times. Appreciate it. All right, let me do these other ones here. We have... oh, it's about to come in. Hold on.
So the last thing I want to say on the whole artificial womb thing, I think it's just such a dangerous thing to introduce into society, in the sense that over the long run, it could radically transform society. And you might have a lot of women who wouldn't have considered getting an abortion in the first place being like, well, I don't really want to deal with pregnancy in terms of like actually carrying my child. So, you know, I'll just pass it over to this artificial womb. And the thing about that, look at that from a long-term perspective, right? There is a massive emotional connection that is formed between a child and its mother when that child is in its mother's womb, right? Like, women hear their mother speaking, they hear their parents talking to it, right? Like that.
It's a connection.
Yeah.
But
You said
Chase,
women.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah,
on that?
women hear, babies hear their mothers talking to them.
Yeah.
There is like the beginnings. It's an intricately designed way to be brought into the world that was brilliant, in my opinion, in how God made it. And that is where that connection starts to form. And like, if you have artificial wombs just as an option for women, I think millions of women would probably take advantage of that. And that would drastically change how human beings develop and are brought into this world. Like, imagine a child that's raised in an artificial womb, how much different they would develop compared to
and then I'm just a ward of the state after the fact. No parents.
Would it be ideal that it's a normal birth? But I mean,
I understand.
Obviously, it's like
the point.
This is like
that you're getting
perhaps hundreds of years in the future. We're living in a who knows what
it's
fucking
not a
the life is
viable
like.
solution. It's
well. Let me just address Chase's thing. My question to you, Chase, is: if a woman had a choice between a full-on proper abortion or it gets put in an artificial womb, which one would you prefer?
I mean, between those two, which are not ideal options, between those two options, an artificial womb is preferable. However, what I would say is even more preferable, to go back to the point that I made earlier, what if rather than just continually running this money printer to fund, foreign nations and wars in other countries and propping up our stock market constantly. What if instead we financially incentivized women to not get those abortions and good people to actually adopt those children, right? Like, that would be such a better use of money.
You're going to have to convince a whole swath of society that...
Or you could just make it illegal.
You're going... Yeah. But sure, you could make it illegal, but do you think that is a political... Do you think that could ever happen in the U.S.?
All things are possible with God.
I think the pool of people you're talking about, Brian, would be convinced, if they're open, they really think women have this choice, they more likely than not don't understand that what abortion does, the humanity of the preborn child, what abortion does to women. So you could address that same pool of people and get them over to the pro-life side, if that's what the goal is in your scenario, by showing them what abortion does and who it hurts. Because I think a lot of those people think that they're supporting something that's good for women, good for humanity.
But so here's the thing. You have a strong pro-life movement, right? They have not so far been able to convince large swaths of America that abortion...
Maybe not a bunch, but like there are tons of converts.
I don't know what the breakdown is.
This is an endless rabbit hole. Let me ask one question so we can tie this up.
Then we can yourselves.
Let me ask one question so that we can tie this up. Brian, which would you prefer? My scenario, in which people are financially incentivized to carry those pregnancies to term, and then people are financially incentivized to then adopt those children, and those kids are brought into loving households, or a bunch of kids getting put through artificial womb facilities and then being made children of the state.
So the scenario is between there's no abortions because we've introduced financial incentives.
Yes. Or
Chase,
the Matrix.
I'm pretty sure most women who want to get abortions do it because they just don't want to go through the actual physical pregnancy. It's an
inconvenience.
It's inconvenient. So like you can say that, but it's not. Like, you're giving me this like scenario, which is not...
Well, that's an assumption that most women want to go through it because they don't want to deal with the physical aspects of the pregnancy. A lot of women also don't want to do it because they financially can't afford a child, right? And what if our government was like, hey, rather than giving this $15,000 to Ukraine to blow on black market weapons that are going to be sold overseas, what if instead it was, hey, we'll give this money to you and we'll take this child off your hands and put it in a loving parents' household? I think that'd be better. I also think this is an endless rabbit hole and we should move on.
World peace.
So,
bro, I came here to talk about dating.
We're going to get caught up on we have only a couple super chats here. Let's try to get through them quick and then we're going to wrap up.
Everyone is starting to look dead.
I'm so tired right now.
Read this one, Chase.
I've been up since
we already did this one.